Oh, hey guys, how are you doing tonight? So, tonight I figured I would take you guys inside the story of Hansel and Gretel and tell you the story that you may have not heard when you were growing up because it's full of a whole bunch of scandal and mystery. We're going to do a deep dive into Hansel and Gretel. So, get a snack ready, some cookies and milk maybe, and let's go deep inside the story of Hansel and Gretel. So the story was actually written in Germany in 1812, but then it was translated to the English version in 1884. Now, the story is way more sinister than we pretty much know about. It's actually pretty sinister. So back in the old days, there was a famine that came through, and families could not afford to feed their children or feed their whole family, so a lot of families would eliminate some of their children to kind of make sure that the rest of the family was successful in making it through the famine, I guess you would say. This author in 1812 decided to take the facts of this story and write a fairy tale. So the fairy tale goes like this. Hansel and Gretel and her father, who was a woodcutter, and their stepmother lived in a small home. So they were very, very poor. Their dad did not make a lot of money from cutting wood, and the stepmother, she didn't work. I mean, you know how these stepmothers are in these stories. They're just out for that money. So the stepmother did not work. So the stepmother, trying to make sure that she successfully survived the famine, came up with a plot and told her husband that they should lead the children out into the woods and leave them there to be devoured by animals. Now, this may have went on successful if Hansel did not hear the whole plot going down, okay? He was like, what? She gonna do what to us? So, before they left on their journey into the woods, Hansel actually filled his pockets with little white pebbles. So as the family went into the woods, the father and the mother led the children in deep into the woods. Hansel dropped these little white pebbles that would be illuminated by the moon's light. So they got into a camp area and they were set up. They had some wood, and they lit a fire for Hansel and Gretel, and the parents said, we'll be back, we're going to get some more wood. So they left, right? So Hansel and Gretel are like, are they coming back? And Hansel was like, let me tell you what, they ain't coming back, sis. They had done lured us here because they don't want us anymore. They trying to us, you know what I'm saying? They trying to like eliminate us so that they can have some food to eat, right? So, but Hansel was like, but I have a plan. I dropped little pebbles on the way here so we can just follow the pebbles back home. And that's exactly what they did. Now, the stepmother and the father were very surprised to see Hansel and Gretel walk on through the door when they did, right? So, the stepmother came up with another plan. So, she decided to go further into the woods. And the father was kind of like skeptical. He was like, those are my babies, you know, da-da-da-da-da. But the stepmother was like, no, we ain't going to survive if these two are around. We got to make sure we make it, right? So they go on another journey out into the woods. This time even deeper than they did before. Hansel's on top of his game though. But this time, instead of using pebbles, he used a small amount of breadcrumbs to lead a path back to the house. So when they get out into the woods, you know, the parents build this fire. They're kind of on top of the game. They kind of know what's going on. Hansel and Gretel are like, So the parents are like, we're going to go get some more wood. And they're like, okay, yeah, all right. We already know what's going on, right? So the parents leave. They never come back. So Hansel's like, well, I left a trail of breadcrumbs. So we got this. We fixing to go back home. You know what I'm saying? So they start to go on this path. Well, guess what? Birds had actually eaten the breadcrumbs. So there was no path or no trail for them to follow back home. So, but they're kind of walking on through the woods, you know, they're like, maybe we can find our way back home anyway. Well, to their surprise, they stumble upon a home, a cottage actually, made out of cakes, cookies, and the windows were made of fine sugar. So they were hungry, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were like starving. So the kids are in the house, and this little old lady comes out and is like, what are you guys doing, you know? And they're like, look, our mom and daddy left us out in the woods. We're hungry, you know? We're eating your house because we're hungry. So she said, well, come on inside and I will feed you. So this little old lady brings them inside, feeds them, and puts them to bed. Now, the next day didn't go so smoothly, y'all, because the next day, what we thought was a little old lady turns out to be a wicked witch. Now, the wicked witch wakes them up, so she throws Hansel in a chicken coop, and she puts Gretel to work doing some chores, you know what I'm saying? So, the wicked witch thinks that it will take a month to fatten Hansel up to the point where she can cook him. So, she makes Gretel actually feed Hansel the whole time to fatten him up. Now, Hansel was a little on top of his game, you know what I'm saying? So, he's in this cage, and the wicked witch, her vision ain't too good, you know what I'm saying? Like, she ain't been to the eye doctor, so she can't see too good. She's a little blind. So, she said, little boy, stick out your finger so that I can see the plumpness of your finger. So Hansel was like on top of his game, and he sees a little chicken bone in the coop, right? So he pulls it out. He sticks the bone out of the little wire. And the witch is like feeling it, and she's like, oh my gosh, your skin and your bone, like you're bony. I can't eat you yet. Now he does this over and over and over, to a point where the witch is like, you know what? I don't care. I'm fixing to eat you. I'm hungry. Mama's just gonna have to get a little something to eat, you know what I'm saying? So, she tells Gretel, we're fixing to cook your brother. Get the pot ready. You know what I'm saying? Fire up the oven, because we're fixing to eat. I'm fixing to cook your brother. Gretel is kind of on top of her game, you know what I'm saying? So, she's like, how do I do that? How do I fire up the oven? How do I light the fire? What am I supposed to do to the oven? So, the wicked witch tells her, you stupid girl, move out of the way, and I will show you. So, the witch opens up the oven door and sticks her head in and says, see, you do it like this. Then Gretel pushes the witch inside of the oven, slams the door shut, and wedges a piece of wood in between the handles, and then the witch screams bloody murder and dies inside the fire. She then lets her brother out of the chicken coop, and they make their escape out of the witch's house. Now, they eventually find their way home, and guess what? Oh, stepmama, that trick done died, okay? She's dead. So, but their father is at home. He embraces them and loves them. Now, there's a part of the story that I didn't tell you guys. So after they pushed the witch into the oven, they saw all her money. All her jewels, all her gold, everything. So guess what? Now Hansel and Gretel are rich, and they give this money, the jewels, and the money to their father. So now he is well off, and he is not struggling like he was before they left. It's a little bit darker than what we're probably used to, but back in the days, a lot of fairy tales actually were based on true stories of famines and other things that were going on in the world. And it's like it's kind of like a little story to keep kids kind of in check, I guess. It's how fairy tales were written back then. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story, and hopefully there'll be many more to come out of my little fairy tale book. I will see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. Bye.